Welcome to this week's episode of Off the Grid, where usually I'm interviewing someone, but this week I'm going to be the interview subject. It's going to be the Random Interest Podcast. They let me have their video of our interview, and it's on their platform on Spotify and other places where you can get their podcast, the Random Interest Podcast. It's the second time I've been on it. I was on it a year ago, and these guys are a lot of fun. We talk about a lot of random things, obviously travel and what I've been doing. A lot of talk about the summer and things like that. So make sure to follow them. Check out their podcast. It's always random and always very entertaining and interesting. So without further ado, let's start the podcast.
All right, John, how you
Hello.
doing?
I'm doing great. Good to see you guys again.
Yeah, you too, man. You've been busy. You've been traveling a lot.
Yeah, so actually, I looked and I took a couple notes since the last time we talked because it was last May.
Yeah,
Right.
And I actually
was that
took a
long
couple
ago?
notes that I thought I would share with you since that happened since last May.
Yeah.
So when we met last time, or we chatted last time, I had 24,000 subscribers, and now I have 58,000 subscribers. So I credit you guys for a 242% increase in the amount of subscribers since May. So I think
What?
that's very significant. I appreciate all the help that you guys did getting the word out.
That sounds incorrect.
Oh,
That can't possibly be true.
But the other notes I put that are more kind of like, I guess you could say serious.
Yeah.
I went to doing 3 videos per week. So that's been an increase.
That's an insane amount of videos, man.
I've been keeping an eye on you. Like,
I can't keep up, John.
It's
I'm sorry. I can't
many
keep up with
videos.
you. I can't keep up
oh,
with them.
it's-
We added a members section. So there's actually a members video. So there's technically 4 videos a week because we do a members video every week.
Kind of an OnlyFans,
so
if you will.
Patreon, right? Not only.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Patreon and YouTube memberships. My videos are now on the MSN website, which is a pretty exciting deal. They've been on MSN for a couple months now.
Is that MSN as an MSNBC?
That's MSN as in Microsoft.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So Microsoft has their own website, like a homepage. So if you go to MSN, they have a homepage, and they're starting to get YouTubers on there, and it's an invite-only thing. So that was really exciting.
That's
to
awesome.
get on there. Since we talked, I went to Alaska,
Yeah.
went to Hawaii for my 50th state that I've ever been to, and I turned 50 in Hawaii.
There you go.
Awesome.
Spent the winter break in the Southwest. In the summer trip, I went in the north and east. I've added dead malls to my channel, a lot of dead mall stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Well, there's a lot of those.
And in this last year, probably one of my best years of coaching that I've ever had. So,
Wow.
yeah, you guys were really the good luck charm for me. It was a great year.
Well, hey, that's fantastic. I can't believe that's true, but that's nice that you say it.
We'll stick around. Make sure we keep helping you.
Oh
out.
my God.
So,
My
next year-
year's gone the opposite direction, but it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Well, hopefully this will turn it around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so I can't follow everything you do because you're just posting all the time. But I did see that you you went through Sault Ste. Marie.
I did. The Michigan Upper Peninsula
Yeah.
crossing over from Canada. That was one of my favorite parts of this trip I did in the summer. Kind of, I guess you'd say, surprising that it was one of my favorite parts. I thought it would be cool, but what I've been telling people when they ask me what was my favorite thing over the summer, I go, one of the most surprising things was the Michigan Upper Peninsula.
Yeah.
And the best way I can describe it for people that like the stuff I do is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan is 30% of the landmass of the state, but it's only 3% of the population.
That's
So
correct.
that's a way to describe it. And that's great for me because that means there's lots of wide open spaces and it's surrounded by the Great Lakes. So there's a lot of cool scenery and nature.
It's very beautiful up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed that. And that's where I crossed over. I stayed the night there. And that was cool. It was good to get out of the French speaking part of my trip. So that I can get back to the United States now.
And I don't think unless you've been up there, I don't think that a lot of people have an appreciation for how large the Great Lakes are. They're huge. They're like inland seas.
It
Yeah.
looks
Right?
like you're looking at the ocean. What you
It
feel
looks like you're looking at the ocean. And the Mackinac Bridge is just enormous.
yeah.
Right? That is such an impressive piece of work. And Sault Ste. Marie is that's a weird town. Right?
Yeah, and it's on both sides. So you
Yeah.
have the Canadian side and the Michigan side, and
Yeah.
I spent a little time in each one, and so yeah, it's different for sure.
It's different for sure. It kind of reminds me of forgive me for saying this, but it kind of reminds me of Port Chester and New Haven.
I'm not real familiar with them. So.
In New York. No, it's like right where Connecticut and New York meet. And you're
Gotcha.
like, you walk across a street and you're in Connecticut and then you're back in New York. You're like, this is weird. Like,
Port Chester and New Haven are very far apart.
I don't know what the town is. I don't know what it is. It's the one next to Port Chester. I don't know
I
what it
lived
is.
in New Haven.
Oh, there you go. So it's not New Haven. I'm sorry.
It's definitely not New Haven. And I've been to Port Chester.
Well, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so that's crazy, man. You've been driving all over the place. That's great. So you spent your 50th birthday in the 50th state.
Correct.
That's some
And I
resident.
took some family with me, so rarely do I do trips with family like that. But so my brother, my sister-in-law, my uncle, we all went to Hawaii for a week.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
That was fun. So
Oh, they didn't want to join you on like long slogs to dead end malls in the middle of nowhere.
that's weird how they're not wanting to do that.
They don't want to be in the road for 14 hours to go to Dubuque, Iowa.
Exactly. Like, hey, can you guys wait? I need to go through this town 8 times because the sun is over here. I need to get a shot of the buildings over here because the sun. So you guys just need to hang out. No,
That's
they don't-
awesome.
Go hang
That's
out
awesome.
in that shack over there. It looks nice.
Exactly.
Last time we talked, I forget exactly how you phrased it, but you said you were talking to a friend of yours, I think from overseas, I want to say, and he said the great thing about the United States is you still have places that are gone that still exist, or something. I'm paraphrasing it, but you said
you can kind of see your history in real time because it's not
that was
sold,
it.
you know. But what was interesting because I went to more the East Coast this year in the summer, and it's a lot older. So I made a comment in one of the videos as I was driving east that there is some of that old stuff there, but there's more modern things in the east because there's more population. So there's way less things in the east that are just kind of out there on its own that still feel like abandoned and stuff. Even if it's maybe a type of a ghost town, real close to it, you're going to find houses and you're going to find modern things. So you kind of have to dig a little deeper when you're heading east to find the real authentic stuff, but it's there. It's just, and it's older. Just
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, in my hometown, there's buildings from that. Everybody's claim to fame is that George Washington stayed in their house. Like,
I went to Winchester, Virginia, and saw his first office.
oh,
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how old. Obviously, you're walking through. It's like that building was his first office when he was a young guy. So yeah, that's
Weird.
a lot of George Washington stuff when you get out there.
oh yeah. New
That's
Jersey's full of
crazy.
it, and I lived right by George Washington's crossing the Delaware. So there was always, like, anybody who had a house that was even remotely old said that George Washington had stayed there. They might be right.
They might
You
be
know,
right. They might be right.
Because really, like, if the house was around back then, there's a kind of a possibility of it.
Yeah, you might have just needed a night to stop and let the horses rest for a little bit.
And get some brandy. One of the places I don't know if you made it out there, but I've always wanted to go to that weird place in Pennsylvania where like the coal mine is burning underneath what's left of a town.
I went there.
Oh, you did?
And
Yeah.
actually, we're recording this on August 27th, so I actually released that one not long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago.
Interesting.
It's interesting because there's a ton of people have done videos about Centralia, so it's one of those
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
kind of a
Tons.
bucket list place to go for me. But I
Yeah.
knew there's a whole bunch of people have gone there, so it's not like my video can be distinguished from the dozens of other videos people have made. But it was cool to see. I went there. It's very unique. Highly recommended to go. And you can still see the smoking vents. You can still see some of the smoke coming out of the ground, which is crazy.
That's
And
crazy. Yeah, that's insane.
right down around the corner is the town of Ashland, which is a
Mhm.
town of a couple thousand people that has a lot of awesome things to see. I did a ride down a coal mine, like a 1,800-foot ride down a coal mine. So
Wow.
there's stuff to do other than just seeing Centralia there, but it was awesome. That was certainly as I was traveling this summer, that was on my map to like I got to figure out wherever I'm doing to get to Centralia, and so that was awesome.
That's fantastic. Is Centralia the place where like they have that section of road that's like shut off and all graffitied over and there's big cracks in it and stuff?
Yes, so correct. You're not supposed to go back there. Like they have it, they have like a covered with dirt is what they did because people would still kind of sneak back there and walk through it. So I took my drone and flew over it,
Yeah.
and uh, a lot of it is covered up with dirt, and then as you get a little bit farther, you still see like the dirt has started to
Wash
go
away.
off the side of the road, and you can see some
Wow.
of it. But then they're starting to kind of like other parts of town graffiti the road. So they may end up having a different, graffiti highway in the town, kind of some of the back roads. But yeah, it was interesting. I did the drone shot so you can see where they took the road today and then where that old road went. So you can kind of see where both of them are. And you can see it, it's just plain as day through the tree. It's a very, heavily wooded area. So you can see this road that's just covered in dirt through the
That's
middle.
crazy. That's crazy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there's if you take the highway from Yakima, Washington to Mount Rainier National Park, you go past a section of highway that was one of the biggest landslides in the country, and it actually rerouted the entire valley. The river had changed course. There was a bunch of houses that are like now you can't get to them. An entire mountainside just slid down and blocked the highway. And it's so weird because when you drive up to it, it looks like it just fucking happened. Like you
Mhm.
can still see the dirt sitting where, like, you can see the road disappearing into the dirt, and then the new road literally goes around it.
That's
So,
super interesting. I've been to a few places. I haven't been there. I think I might have heard about it. I've been
yeah,
to a few places where the river changed courses. So like there's a town in Illinois. I did a video last year, the 10 smallest towns of Illinois. And there's a town, a really historic town called Kaskaskia, and it's on the other side of the river. So it's on the side it's in Missouri if you just look at it, but
Mm.
the river changed course around the town. So it's like here's the river,
yeah,
here's Illinois, here's Missouri, and it's in the Missouri part, but the state boundary is around the town still. So it's the river changed course, and there's a place like that in Kentucky and it might be Southern Illinois where an earthquake caused that to happen. It's
interesting.
massive, and that changed in the 1800s, some earthquake kind of changed the course of the river. So yeah, that's interesting to see those kind of things, especially when there's roads that disappear into
The
the.
roads at this period, yeah, that's great. We have, we're so lucky. We have so many geographic and geological quirky places in this country. Like here in Oregon, we have all sorts of crazy. Uh, we have we have the Mackenzie River, which starts out of a spring, which goes into a lake that has fossilized old growth trees at the bottom of it because there's no oxygen down there. It's atrophic. And that flows, that's the headwaters of the Mackenzie River. And there's a river for about 2 or 3 miles, and the river just fucking disappears into a lava bed. And it's gone. It's just like, and you can ride your mountain bike. There's a mountain bike trail. And then 3 miles down the trail, it comes out of this place called Tamalich Blue Pool. And the river just pops up again, and then it just goes all the way down to Eugene.
Wow. So I feel like Oregon was kind of my second home this year because I was out there 4 times for track meets in Eugene,
Yeah,
and one of them
I'm sorry.
I had, Eugene is a good place for track. And so, but in one of the trips, I had like 4 days off
Yeah,
between two track meets, and all the athletes left, and I just stayed for 4 days and explored all around Eastern Oregon and
yeah,
Central Oregon
yeah.
and made a bunch of videos. And it was some of the most beautiful driving I've ever had.
It's gorgeous out there.
Yeah, and so people obviously know about Portland and Eugene and the coast. And then I did this video of the 10 smallest towns in Oregon. And then
Oh, I got to see that one.
I did a behind the scenes during that. So what I did is I've been doing these 10 smallest towns videos, and then I do like a companion piece to it of like where the hotels I stayed in, the driving, the planning, and that one was just as interesting for the Oregon one because it was so scenic. It just became a scenic driving video, basically.
Yeah.
Some really interesting hotels in the middle of
Yeah, so did you make it to the Outback?
What's the Outback?
The Oregon Outback, like Christmas Lake Valley and Crack in the Ground and the Lost Forest and the sand dunes and stuff like that?
So I went, most of those 10 smallest towns are kind of in what I would say is the north central part of the state.
Sure. Yeah.
And then there was one called Jordan Valley. That's
Oh,
way
yeah.
down.
Oh,
Jordan
beautiful.
Valley was the last one I went to. And then I drove back through the middle of the state to Eugene. So,
Oh, yeah. That's a beautiful drive.
and I
Yeah.
actually haven't edited that video. That's the one video I haven't edited from that trip yet. But it felt like the loneliest road in America kind of a deal when you do
Yeah.
US 50 through Nevada. It felt like that. It was just like a road that there's no towns unless you're driving down a dirt road and there's 20 people here, 20 people there. It was beautiful.
No, there's absolutely nothing out there.
Yeah. And then it ended in Bend. So I went from
Bend,
Jordan
yeah.
Valley to Bend. And so I got
I know that drive very well. I should say this live, but we used to drive. I was running a kitchen in Bend for a little while, and we had a sister store in Boise, and we would send line cooks and servers back and forth between Boise and Bend. And we had an unofficial contest about who could drink a six-pack the fastest between Bend and Burns.
Well, you're not going to get pulled over.
You're not going to get pulled over. There's nothing there, right? You don't
not even any people to hurt except for yourself.
There's nothing. I mean, you could literally drive off the road and nothing would happen. But like, you don't hit anything until you get down to like Vail, and kind of near the eastern Oregon border, where like there's a lot of onion farms. They grow a lot of onions over there.
And you're in a desert.
And you're in a desert. Oh,
Yeah.
Did you know that, Tom?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people like in Boise around like Idaho, they have potatoes.
Potatoes,
But also in Eastern Oregon they do potatoes, but they also are very famous for their onions.
Huh.
Yeah, they have
really
giant.
they like their ground.
They like their ground. Yeah, the Jordan Valley's incredible.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I stayed the night there in the one place that you could stay.
Yeah, there's
And
not many places to stay there.
I ate food at the one food truck that had food.
Oh wow, there was a food truck.
Yeah, it was the best burger in town.
Yeah, well, that's yeah, it's really pretty though. And did you go through Burns?
Yes, I did. Yep,
Yeah.
that was the route I took. Yep, up through Burns.
So Burns is kind of on the north side of Steens Mountain, which is this giant escarpment fault, right? I think it's called a slip fault, where like one plate it goes like this. So there's like a tectonic plate sticking up, and it's not really a mountain; it's the edge of a fault plate.
Gotcha.
And that's Steens Mountain, and I think Jordan Valley is part of that geological formation.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Jordan Valley is actually one of the 10 smallest incorporated towns in Oregon, so that was why I went there.
Interesting.
And I got the drone footage of it, and it's got this mountain basically right next to the town, and the road goes just right around it. And I did this drone footage from the corner of it. It was just a beautiful setting, so it was cool. But it's the one video I haven't edited. This other one from Jordan Valley up to Bend. And I did that before I did this whole summer trip, so everything blurs in my mind because I filmed like 40 videos in the summer.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
And so that one's like 41 videos ago that I filmed. And so when you say Burns, I'm like, oh yeah, I actually did get a Burns. So the fun part of what I do is I do a trip, and the editing becomes like doing the trip a second time, especially if it's been a while ago. And so I'll learn all about Burns when I'm editing this video, the history of it.
Sure.
And it's very rewarding that way. That sometimes I would have totally forgotten about a place like Burns if I just gone through it the one time. Now I'm going to learn about it and I'm going to remember, oh yeah, that was cool. And I remember going there.
Oh,
And
we also though they had the Malheur occupation. That's where they took over the wildlife refuge, and everyone was sending them dildos.
you know, the place I went to that I didn't realize was such a significant place when I was in Oregon. One of the 10 smallest towns was Antelope.
Oh yes, Bhagwan. Bhagwan
Yeah.
Shri, right? Yeah, the Bhagwan. Yes, I'm very familiar with Bhagwan Shri Rashna. I don't know how to say it.
Was the
So I don't know if Thomas knows, but there's a Netflix documentary series called Wild Wild Country.
I've seen it. Yeah. Okay. That's the okay.
They,
Like
they
the
took
cult.
over the town of Antelope, Oregon.
Yes.
They sure did.
And then obviously they're not there anymore. So I went to Antelope not knowing that that's what the town was until I got there.
Hilarious.
Oh
And
no.
now, and you wouldn't even know that all happened. It's just like a normal little
Yeah,
town.
normally. You know what's really great about that place? So near Antelope, it's not really exactly near Antelope, but it's close. It's around. There are the John Day fossil beds, the Painted Hills, right? Which is just, it looks like something out of the Chinese desert.
Yeah, it's called, they have the road there is called like the journey through time, like the journey through time.
Oh, yeah,
And so I
yeah.
drove all that. That was part of the like companion piece of finding these towns was driving through all those places.
That's
And
so funny.
Oh man.
yeah.
So when I lived in Bend, me and my ex-wife, we would this is going to sound insane, but we would like pack a picnic basket with a couple of bottles of red wine and salami and cheese, and we would go picnic at the John Day fossil beds. And we were out there listening to like Django Reinhardt and like out on a blanket, and people were like, "What are you doing?" We're like, "Oh, we're having a picnic."
There's an actual town called Fossil out
Yep.
there.
Yeah. I've
It
been
has
to
a
Fossil.
museum and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. That's so great, man. That's so good. You got to see Oregon.
Mhm.
I feel like you've seen more of this country than I think anyone I've ever met before in my life.
Well, that's cool. I went to 24 states in 36 days this summer, so
Jesus
that was
Christ,
that was fun. And hopefully, what I'm trying to do is go to places that most people aren't aware of. You know,
Yeah.
Centralia, people know about it, but I also went up through Vermont and I went to the 4 smallest towns in Vermont, which I'm pretty confident
Oh.
there's not any YouTube videos about any of these 4 towns.
Well,
in
and
Vermont.
I'm also pretty confident that's just the only 4 towns in Vermont.
Well, there aren't very many. In my research, there weren't too many. And it was funny because I also did one video in Delaware, and you know, which has actually been way more successful than I would imagine because it was just kind of a quick little deal.
Yeah.
But there's only 3 counties in Delaware. I didn't know that until I got
Huh.
there. And I said, well, I'm going to go to 10 towns that are incorporated and less than 5,000 people. That was just like my goal, just like a drive. And I started looking up, and I mean, there's barely more than 10 options in Delaware.
That's
you know,
crazy.
because
Well,
they
it's
have
so
big cities
small.
in the north, and then they just don't have that many towns. And but I found 10, and it was cool. And a lot of people from Delaware were watching, which they were like, nobody makes videos about us, so this was cool.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been to Delaware. I drove through I remember one time.
Delaware many times.
No, I remember one time I drove. Me and my friends, we drove up from Orlando to Newark, New Jersey, and we drove nonstop, and we went to Pedro's south of the border, that little tourist trap on the
Gotcha.
South Carolina border, where we stole 500 bumper stickers. And when we left Orlando, it was 95 degrees and 90% humidity, and we got to Newark, and it was 98 degrees and 96% humidity. And I'm like, what the is wrong with the West Coast? The East Coast. Sorry, the East Coast. Like, this is, man. And we stopped. I remember we stopped in Baltimore because they wanted to get like crab legs or something. I don't know what they were doing. I'm in the car. I'm just like, leave me alone. I'm sleeping in the car, and I watched 2 guys jump out. This is how old I am. I watched 2 guys jump out and fight over stealing a payphone. They had like crowbars, and they were literally like they were ripping the payphone out of the pavement. I'm like, I do not like Baltimore.
Those are antiques now.
They're antique. They've not around. This is how old I am. I remember payphones.
Actually, there's a little bodega down the street from me that still has a payphone out on the side of it.
That's crazy.
So, funny thing about the payphone. Sorry, funny thing about the payphone. And back to Oregon, the smallest town is this town called Greenhorn, and it's like 3 people, and it's way down this back road, and there was no one. I couldn't find anyone in the town. I'm walking around, and they had a payphone in the town, and I walked up, and it works. It's like the first payphone that I'd found. It's in this little town in Oregon because there's no cell phone service up there, and I pick it up, and I'm like, yeah, it works. Yeah, Greenhorn, Oregon, got a payphone. Just looks like an old classic payphone.
That's crazy.
That's
they took off the handset and everything. Like
that's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, look up Greenhorn on your map.
I'm looking at it right now. I've never. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That reminds me that do you remember what was that? There was a show. What was that show in the 90s? There was like a doctor that went up to Alaska.
Are you talking about
Northern Exposure?
Northern Exposure, yeah.
So Northern Exposure, they actually filmed that in Roslyn, Washington, which is at the end of a road in the middle of nowhere in Washington, in the middle of the forest. And you drive there and you can see like the opening, like where the general store where the moose was walking by, the opening scenes of Northern Exposure. And you go there and it just dead ends into the town. Like there's no in or out. There's just, you go to Roslyn and you're like, did they film Northern Exposure here or did they film Twin Peaks here? Because I'm very confused. And it's just this creepy ass town.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I have to think it must have been a logging town, right? At some point, like back in maybe in the 20s or 30s or something like that. I don't know.
Up there, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
of moose, I've seen some moose before, but I've never seen any bear. And so the summer, I drove way up into Quebec, and every 5 miles, I'm seeing signs for moose. And it went from English to French, but it still had the same, it'd be great to see. And I didn't see one moose and I didn't see one bear the entire summer. And I'm at the top, the farthest you can almost drive into Quebec. And I'm like, man, I'm not going to see anything. And then I'm driving south and I see 2 wolves crossing the road, which I don't think I've ever seen wolves. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So I'm slowing down to like try to get a video of it. And then the one car that's on, like besides me, that's on the road is flying up behind me. And so I'm like distracted by, well, should I pull off the side of the road or what should I do? And then the wolves just burst off and I'm gone. So I didn't get the wolves on film. No moose, no bear, but they were there.
That's crazy. I think the first time I ever saw a moose, I was 19 years old, and we were staying at the Grovant campground in Grand Teton National Park, and it was I want to say 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. It was really early in the morning, and I was sleeping in my tent, and I could hear like this noise outside of the tent. I was like, "Is that a cow? Like, what the hell is that thing?" And I unzip the tent, and there's just all I see are legs, like just legs, like something out of a fucking movie. And I'm like, holy shit. And I jump up on a picnic table, and when I jump up on the picnic table, which picnic tables are like what 36 inches or something, and I'm standing up on the picnic table, and I'm level with the head of the moose on the picnic table. Huge. They're huge. And then it was like
enormous.
It was literally like this close to my head. Like its big schnoz was like this close to my head. And it kind of looked at me and very slowly walked towards the Grovant River, which is this glacial stream, which is really narrow and fast and deep, and got in, and the water went up to its shoulders, and he just walked straight across the current without even being pushed downstream. I'm like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you're very lucky too.
I'm very lucky. Yeah, I'm very lucky. But I did get chased.
For their,
5 days later, I got chased by a grizzly bear.
Yeah, No
I've
thanks.
been very lucky. I've been chased by 5 large land animals.
So I still haven't seen a bear like in the wild. And I went to Alaska last summer,
Yeah,
and I went to the smallest town in Alaska, which was not easy to get to.
I can't
And
even imagine where that is.
it's called Kupreanof, but you have to fly
Hmm.
to one town, and then you have to take a boat to get to an island where this other town is. And there's no one that everyone that lives there has like their own little boat. So it's not like there's regular ferries over to this island. So I had to like get to this one town,
Get a
hope that
local.
I could find someone to get me over there. So that a guy who does like whale watching or something, I met him and he like took me across the, channel. And I get over there and I'm talking. I couldn't find anyone. There's 20 people that live in this place, but
Yeah,
there's no one there. And I'm walking around. I'm at the end of filming it. I'm there for a couple hours, and I walked everywhere that I could felt like through a jungle almost. And I finally found a guy. And it turns out he was like the mayor for like 40 years. And we sit and talk and all that kind of stuff. And turns out the whole place is a bear sanctuary. And I'm walking through the place having no idea that it's like a bear sanctuary. And,
that's
and, uh,
crazy.
and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So are you not worried about the bear? And they're not worried about it. They're black bears. They're not really concerned at all. It's like,
Yeah.
don't
Yeah, black bears are
Not
pretty.
aggressive.
They're pretty
don't
docile.
feed them and don't leave like food out at your house. And so it was like very nice. He's like, yeah, you were fine. No, no problem. You were fine walking around. I'm like, and so yeah, that could have been my last video. So
That's great. If you want to see bears, John, you should come to the Columbia Gorge.
okay.
Because if you
All right, I'm there.
what's great about the gorge is it's hard to get lost because it's the gorge, right? So if you get lost, you just walk towards the river and avoid cliffs. But one of the things that only locals know about that other people would never know because we don't share it with other people, this is inside information, is we have all sorts of unmaintained unofficial trails. We have a network of off-network trails that only the locals know about that aren't marked by the Forest Service. And what's crazy about the gorge is if you walk on any of the officially maintained Forest Service trails, probably within 300 yards, there's an unofficial trail that's maintained by off-trail hikers. And if you get more than 300 yards off of a maintained trail in the gorge, there's a 90% chance you're going to run into black bears.
Mm-hmm.
They're everywhere. There's hundreds of them, and they just they're not very big, and they just the minute they see you, they just take off. They just run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. So if you want to see bears, the gorge is yeah, it's a safe bet. The real problem we have out here is not so much here, a little bit up here, but really like when you get down more towards Eugene, cougars. Like big cougars, big, enormous, giant cougars.
Wow.
There's probably, I think the last count was the Fish and Wildlife Service said there's probably 900 cougars between Eugene and the Cascades.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be scary to me to see something like that.
They're scary. They're very scary.
They're
And
very large.
and they're very large, and they're not afraid of people.
Mm.
Yeah,
Not good.
No,
yeah, that's
no,
not
no,
good.
thanks.
Not good.
They
Good,
just
so-
saw a bobcat just outside of town here, and like people are freaking out.
Yeah,
Like,
bobcats.
bobcats aren't that much bigger than a house cat.
They're not much bigger than a house cat. So, so when you went through the Upper Peninsula, did you see any porcupines?
I did not see any porcupines.
Because I feel like I'm from Michigan, and we would go up to the Upper Peninsula once in a very great while, and I'm just like, this is the most desolate place on earth. There's like nothing. It's like Russia.
Lots of insects, lots of giant insects up there.
Oh my God.
Needed bug spray. I didn't have any, but you definitely need some bug spray up there.
Oh, that's funny.
But it's cool because, it felt more like Western, kind of the Western part of the United States, just because how, there's just less population and everything was spread out. And then the cool thing is you aren't far from a Great Lake. So I
No,
started the day at the north side, drove around, and then I was down the south side. And the towns are, you know, they're very authentic would be the best way to put it,
that's a nice way.
because
That's a very nice way to put it.
there's not tons of tourists,
No,
and there are some, but it's almost like they don't want you to know about that place
there's
up
not. There's not even people from Detroit.
there. You go, yeah. So I really liked it. I'd like to go back and spend some more time up there.
Yeah, it's very pretty. The Great Lakes are amazing. Uh, if I remember when I was a kid, my dad would take us. He rented a cabin on the. You go over the Mackinac Bridge and you take a right. So it was kind of like on the northeast bank of Lake Huron, and it was just crystal clear water, and there's nothing up there. There's nobody up there, and it was really quiet and beautiful. It's great. Yeah, it's very
At the
nice.
end of this video I'm going to have about it, I stopped at a little town that had a lighthouse, and I was like, oh, I'll finish. I'll go out to the lighthouse, kind of like walk down the pier.
Yeah.
And it was quite a long walk, and it was windy, so waves are crashing over top of the long walk out there. So it's nothing but water surrounding.
Oh, I think I saw that video.
Yeah, and I was like, dang, is this safe? Like, and then here's a little like 6-year-old kid come running past me, down towards. I'm like, okay, well, if he can withstand a
Yeah,
wave,
I think I watched that one. That was great.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the I think it's there's this weird lighthouse off the coast of France. It's like out in the middle of the ocean and it's really tall. And there's this really famous picture of the lighthouse keeper standing in the door, and there's this giant 150-foot wave wrapping around the lighthouse. And it was taken by like the helicopter that was supposed to pick him up or something. And they took it, the shot kind of is deceptive because he immediately walked back inside and shut the door before the wave came around. But it's one of the most dramatic photographs I've ever seen.
I always think about like the guy taking the photo, because it made me think of last year I did these videos in Oklahoma in the Panhandle, where it was no man's land. And there's a famous picture from down there during the Dust Bowl of this father and son where the dirt is just piling up alongside the house.
I know that picture.
Kind of like standing sideways in this, and I'm thinking, what's the picture of the guy taking a camera look like? Because he's got to be like, it's got to be a miserable experience to try to take the photo of this miserable thing that's happening right in front of him.
Yeah, I know that photo. Yeah, I know I believe that's a very famous photographer that did that, right?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was I forget her name. Oh, this is terrible. We got to cut this out. we should know who this is. Oh my God, it's terrible. Oh my God. Fear the Weed.
That was a really interesting part of the country is talk about like, man, just tough living in the Dust Bowl.
Well, I know this is old material that you did, but I remember watching after we talked last time. I watched some of your travel videos where you went way the hell out somewhere in West Texas where there was like nothing.
Just oil fields and things like that.
Like nothing. Like there was absolutely nothing. Like you went. I forget.
The least populated county in all of the United States is in West Texas.
That's crazy.
The total population of the county, it's Loving County, Texas, is 64. That's the whole county.
That's the one. That's the one I remember. Yeah.
And it's got one unincorporated community. It's got it's the county seat and no other towns. And nobody really that works. It's all oil fields. So the income per capita is like the top in the United States because there's 64 people there and they're all really wealthy. And but it was fascinating, and I talked to a couple people there, and there's one restaurant in town, but yeah, it's crazy to think that there's places like that. And
that's insane.
It is wild.
I'm guessing biscuits and gravy were on the menu.
It was actually a guy from Louisiana. He made like Cajun food.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
If you know the country singer Charlie Robison, he's a Texas guy. He passed away a few years ago. he sang a song called Loving County. And it's kind
Oh.
of a dark song about killing someone, but it's about Loving County because you could imagine this happening in Loving County because there's no one out there, if you're trying to do something and get away with
Nefarious, if you want.
it.
Well, isn't there that I forget where it's at, but there's some place, I think it's in Alaska actually. I forget where it is, but like there no laws apply there or something like that. It's not considered like it's not considered a part of anything. So you can I forget
You
where
might
that
be
is.
right, but I'm not aware. I feel like I've heard something about that. That's
Yeah,
probably
I know, Tom.
County.
I know where you're talking about, Tom. It's kind of near the town that you went to, John.
Oh, okay.
It's kind because that was like in the southeast archipelago, right?
Yep.
yeah.
Where that town, yeah, there's a town near there where the sheriff only goes there by ferry once a month. Yeah, and it's like if you get in trouble, I'm not going to tell the joke, but you know the joke about the local, right? He goes in the bar in Alaska. There's like you're not considered a local till you wrestle the bear and have sex with the old woman.
So I've had an interesting debate on one of my videos that has to do with Alaska and Maine. So I went to the easternmost town in the contiguous United States this summer, Lubec, Maine. I made a video about it a couple weeks ago. And
Cool. Yeah.
in the video, I say, well, this is the easternmost town in the contiguous United States. And I feel like it's the easternmost town in the United States, like total. And then some geography nerds corrected me that as the southwest corner of Alaska that goes way out, what's that called? The islands.
Bering Strait. Oh,
It goes way, you know what I mean?
yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Alaska. Well, it crosses the hemisphere over there. So the very western
Oh.
part of Alaska, there's like a couple communities, and technically they're the easternmost, town in the United States.
That I,
And it would be literally next to the westernmost town. And so I'm like, come on,
I feel like that's nitpicking.
yes, I feel like if you're looking at the United States,
Yeah.
only, like this is the country,
Yeah.
this is the West,
Yeah.
and this is the East. You're not, if
Yeah.
there was a line through the middle of the country, the westernmost point to me would still be way out in Alaska, even though it would be.
Yeah. Yeah. So there
This
is
has been a hotly contested debate lately.
So I do know that in that area you're talking about, but further up north, like near the mainland, near the main continent, there's two islands that are 3 miles apart. There's Big Diomede Island and Little Diomede Island, and
Those ones that are Russia.
one's Russia and one's the United States, and they're literally like whatever those inflatable boats, the Zodiac things. They're literally like a 45-minute boat ride apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's crazy, and I think that there's like multi generations of families, like native families that live on both islands. So
Maybe
they
that's
go
where Trump and Putin should have met. They should have met right here when they had the real meeting.
hopefully in the middle.
It was hard
In the
for Trump
water.
to get the red carpet out for him.
No politics, John. No politics. We don't do politics on the show. No, I'm kidding. It's fine.